Hello and welcome to another edition of the Plus One interview. And we got some returning guests. 2/3 of the Audacity Podcast are here. Fellas, welcome back. How y'all doing?
Doing good. Thank you for having us.
Yeah. Last time y'all was here, I think Jaylen Brown had just signed his extension.
Right.
Making him the highest mill. Now, Jason Tatum's the highest paid player in the league, $314 million.
Mm-hmm.
Until next year when Luka Doncic is probably getting $400 million.
Hey, that's very true. The NBA is just going up and up and up with the money.
Yeah, that new TV deal they got, them dudes about to get some. You know, you got, Hartenstein, he got $50 million.
Yeah, which is crazy.
I saw that.
He's a hooper though. I like him.
7 points a game is getting you $50 million.
50 mil? I don't know.
Yeah, the game's different now though. It's big money.
A lot of money. We got a lot to talk about here. But first, we got to talk about Banner 18, the Celtics season. They got their Celtics jersey on. Clearly, I got my English jersey on.
Always repping the city, though.
Yeah.
We all have to represent.
Definitely. It was, to those that have been paying attention to the Celtics all year, they weren't a bit surprised at how fast this finals was. I know I wasn't, but to the outside world, it was like a big shock to them that they just ran through the whole entire playoffs.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. People are kind of underestimating us. I feel like they just wanted people to bet on Dallas, for Vegas, you know what I mean?
Right.
Because ESPN was just hyping it up a little too much. But I think the Celtics did exactly what was expected of them. So.
Right.
Absolutely. And even throughout the whole playoffs, people are talking about, like, oh, this is the easiest path. But then during the regular season, you saw them dominating. Dominating. Obviously, if you're the number one seed, you're going to play, the lower seeds. And,
Right. It's like finding any type of excuse. Even with the Pacers series, they were struggling with the Pacers without their best player. But, when you look at how the Pacers played put a lot of points up on everybody. They just don't play defense. That was the problem with the Pacers. They played zero defense, but in the season, I think they were second in scoring.
Yeah,
they were second, right behind the Celtics.
top three for sure, yeah.
Yeah, so even that Pacers series, and I personally think they were better off without Halliburton because sometimes he disappears in games.
Yeah, there's times that he does.
And every game was down to the wire. Even I know it was a sweep, but every single game in that series was down the wire. And people were talking about the Celtics on battle tested, but that's being battle tested right there when every single game is down to the final 10 seconds.
Right.
Exactly.
And those are the type of games that they wanted them. It's because of the opponent. They weren't satisfied with the results because of the opponent, but it's kind of like, come on.
Exactly. If it was the Knicks, even then, if it was the Knicks, they would have said the Knicks were hurt. You know what I mean? I don't think there was a team that was built to play us in the East. Maybe the Bucks would have given us a challenge, but the Bucks were hurt, and they got whooped by Indiana, so it is what it is.
Right. And it's also funny how nobody talks about how the Pacers made it to the Eastern Conference Finals playing against injured teams.
Yeah, exactly.
I know, but the Celtics, yeah, it makes no sense. But it's all right. Haters are motivators. We got Banner 18, Banner 19 is coming soon too.
Exactly. We're running it back, and you heard it here first.
Yeah, and this run too. It was just like you saw, like these guys been through every basketball emotion you could go through in the years they've been playing together, and you just kind of saw they finally figured out how to play off each other. Because it used to be just I go, you go, not playing off each other. But it seemed like this year they figured it out how to play off each other. Tatum being a playmaker this year. Even Brown's playmaking definitely improved a little. I think he averaged like 5 assists in the finals. He improved his playmaking, but those two kind of figured out like the way they could work with each other, so they could, probably the best duo in the league right now.
Exactly, and I think the thing that elevated us to that height, I think, was Drew Holiday. I think without Drew Holiday, I don't know if we have that championship. Yeah. But I think Kristaps Porzingis, regular season-wise, he gave us that edge. But when it came to the playoffs, even if we had Kristaps or not, Drew Holiday just made that difference.
Yeah.
Absolutely, I definitely agree. I definitely think the other guys definitely helped in the development of both Brown and Tatum. Like you just said, Tatum's playmaking, I think his assists are up. And his points were down from last year, but that's a given when you're going to have people like Derek White, Kristaps.
Right.
Drew Holiday. So I think having those guys definitely helped his playmaking out because he can pass it out, dish it out to guys who can score the basketball, like Derek White, big-time three-point shooter this year. Also, like a slasher, can do other things, so.
What was he? He was like top 10 in blocks, right?
Yeah, and he's playing defense. So I think all around we're just built to win a championship.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm so happy that Al Horford got a championship. He really deserved it. And I'm happy that he's coming back. That's how you know. I honestly, much respect to Al Horford. I want to get a second one for him.
Yeah.
You know how I felt about Al Horford at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, I know. And you ate those words, man. I was telling him all the time. I was like, yo, Al is that guy. And he proved it.
Yeah, he completely changed his game. But here's the crazy thing. They won the finals, and they only got 2.5 games out of Porzingis.
Yeah.
And that one game, it was like, yo, this guy's healthy. Good luck. But
Yeah.
Could have been a sweep. Could have been a sweep.
They gave them game 4.
Yeah.
They literally gave him game 4. You knew they gave it to him when they threw the game in the first half.
Yeah.
Right before
Absolutely.
halftime, they threw the game. It's like they played their starters like 2 minutes in the second half, and that was it. So, but Porzingis, he's going to be out for until December, until the holidays, which is good, though, because he only plays like 60-something games per year.
That's perfectly fine. As long I know this is small, but we just signed Xavier Tillman back, so it sounds like Brad Stevens is really just trying to bring the whole core back, So I think we'll be perfectly fine for Porzingis for a month or two.
Yeah, even if they grab some other guys that are left in free agency, I think there's some guys out there that can help the team in free agency, depending on who doesn't come back. But I mean, re-signing Sam Hauser, that was pretty big. He had a horrible series against the Pacers, like probably his worst shooting of the year, and then he redeemed himself in the finals with his defense. I was more impressed with his defense than offense.
Yeah. He was locking up Luka. I was like, what is going on right now?
I had nothing to say.
Luka's a bad man.
Definitely. And a lot of talk about finals MVP and all that. And I think the finals MVP discussion is the dumbest thing ever, because it was never a thing until Steph Curry didn't win it.
Yeah.
Once Steph Curry didn't win finals MVP, that's when people just start talking about if you win finals MVP, you're the best player on the team, or who's the best player. It's kind of, when you look at it, it never mattered. Like Larry Bird's first finals, Cedric Maxwell won the MVP.
I never thought about it like that.
Isaiah Thomas got 2 championships and he only got 1 finals MVP. So it's kind of like you never heard about finals MVP talk until Steph Curry didn't win it, and then that's when people decided that's a finals MVP is what makes or breaks who's the best player on the team. When you just look at statistically, it's just like one guy was doing everything for the team, and the other guy was doing what he needed to do. So it's kind of like, what are we talking about here? Why are you trying to? I don't get those discussions.
Yeah. That's a great point too. I never thought about it that way, about the finals MVP, about like you just said, when Steph didn't win it. Because I think when you have 2 greats like that, that's when that discussion comes in. I think if it was between, like even the year before when it was between Iguodala and Steph, and then Iguodala took it, nobody really talked about it that much.
Right.
Like we're like, oh, Steph should have won it, Iguodala, whatever. But nobody cared until Kevin Durant came. Then that's when there was, are you really that great if you don't have a Finals MVP?
Right.
We were still looking at Steph as a great player when Iggy won it, but then KD won it. We're like, oh, okay, that's 2 Finals, no MVPs. What's going on here?
Yeah, I think it's just the narrative that they always have all the time, though, with the Jays. They're always kind of trying to separate them by making them compete with each other.
Right.
And it's just, I don't know. Like, as Celtics fans, I don't really fall for that nonsense. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, Jaylen Brown is great. Jason Tatum is great.
Right.
They both do similar things. They both do different things, but they do complement each other.
Yeah, and I was having a discussion with folks yesterday. We was talking about the contract, and they're saying and they were saying, oh, Jaylen Brown's a better player. And I'm just like, all right, if we're going to have this discussion, please pull up the stats. Just pull up the stats and show me at what aspect is Jaylen Brown better than Tatum if this is the route you're going to go. And then look at the accolades. I mean, how many first-team All-NBA he's got. I mean, granted, Brown got screwed out this year. He should have been All-NBA second or third team, and he should have been All-NBA defense.
But even if he wanted, Tatum definitely still got more.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly. Still got more accolades that you're saying. So I think Tatum hurts himself a lot sometimes with his shot selections, and not this year though. Not these finals run. Like when he was struggling this year, you seen him do other things. He averaged 12 rebounds.
Yeah, he's facilitating too.
8 assists. Like he was doing other things. Whereas 2 years ago in the finals, if he was struggling, he was just continue to try to shoot himself out. So yeah, I think Tatum hurts himself, and I think that's why people look at Jaylen Brown as like, no, Jaylen Brown is the better player. But when Tatum is on, he's on, and there's no question that he's our best player.
And also, I also like to point out, like when we've seen them without each other on the court, Like Tatum had to put up 50 points just to get his team one win against a fully healthy Kevin Durant, James Harden, Kyrie Irving, and get one win in a 7-game series out of them. Tatum got hurt last year, and I think Brown probably played the worst game ever in his career on that. So it's kind of like them two need each other. But Tatum can get you a win. He can get you one win.
Yeah.
We don't know if Brown could do it, but I mean, he's got the attitude for it. But he definitely redeemed himself this year. He did what you're supposed to do. Came back better. Everything was better.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I like what he did too when he won Eastern Conference Finals MVP and Finals MVP. He held it up with his left hand.
Right.
So like, yo, this is my left hand right here. Like I like that. I like that attitude.
He knows what he's doing. I think when it comes to Brown, at the end of the day, like Brown is like a top 15 player to me. Like he's definitely like good, solid. But in my opinion, I know some people argue this, but Tatum is top 5 to me. Like undisputed, especially because we got the ring now.
Listen, man, I be seeing. Oh man, Twitter is the worst because I had some of the conversations people be trying to. They're trying to put SGA over him. I'm just like, bro, come on.
They were trying to say what Michael Jordan of Tobias Harris is. I remember.
Yeah, I was like, come on.
Crazy.
And I like SGA too, and I'm just like, come on now.
I know.
Come on now.
Yeah.
I mean, Embiid, I'm like, he's been past Embiid.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, man. Maybe because he's light skinned. Maybe because he plays for Boston. You know. So.
It's because he's not cocky. People hate that. If he was talking like Anthony Edwards, people would love him.
Oh yeah. And he's so like you don't know nothing about him.
Exactly. Like he's out here bagging LMA and he's quiet about it.
Like, right. Only thing you know is he hoops and he's with Deuce all the time.
Exactly.
He with his son all the time. So that's
Dudes
about
hate
it.
positivity, man.
Right.
Yeah,
They hate it.
Especially on Twitter.
Oh my gosh, Twitter's like the cesspool of negativity. Oh my gosh. Other NBA, I mean, you said they're running back. Listen, if they tell you right now, the city might like go up in flames if they win it back to back.
I hope so.
I think if they win it back to back, I think the following parade might be even crazier than what we saw, just because they're gonna use all that. They didn't beat a healthy team, all that motive and stuff like that. Yeah. The fans are gonna be absolutely ridiculous.
I think if they do that, if we do repeat, it will solidify that team as possibly. You could argue like best Celtics team ever. You know what I mean? At that point, I think the thing about them, right now, I say standalone championships. I wouldn't, in my opinion, I wouldn't put them above the 08 Celtics team just because of the Hall of Famers that are on that team right now. But I would say they're comparable with maybe like the 2004 Pistons. I would say like they're up there, like really, really good team.
Numbers-wise, they're comparable to the 2017 Warriors.
Oh, geez, yeah.
Yeah, numbers-wise, the statistics show,
Statistically, they're a force.
Like sometimes, when you go back and look at this season and just look at what they did, you're like, this team was actually really good.
They dominated for sure.
Now, you win 64 games, it's hard to win 40 games in the league. You get to 60, you're just up that upper echelon of teams. So, I definitely think they're going to run it back because I don't see, these free agency moves. Paul George to the Sixers, okay.
That's a good move.
Good move, but, is the big fella going to be there at the end? Yeah,
that's it. At the end of the day, it all relies on Embiid. I know. I'm going to let you talk about this. Paul George is your guy. What do you think about
Paul George is my guy, man. You already know what it is. Paul George, that's my guy for sure. And, I am happy for him. I'm happy that he went to 76ers. I think, yes, Joel Embiid has a history of not getting out the second round and a history of injury. I don't think it's as bad as the injury history of Kawhi Leonard, because Kawhi Leonard always gets injured when you need him the most. Like Joel Embiid, obviously you need him no matter what, but I think even the season that just passed, he got hurt during the season. Like he was making his way back, he came back, he tried to play through. He did play through, dropping 50 points and still hooping like that. You know what I'm saying? I think for the 76ers, I think is just the other guys. Tyrese Maxey, this was really his first time being out there in the spotlight like that.
Yeah. Didn't they just sign Eric Gordon? Eric Gordon?
I think it signed Eric Gordon. But Tobias Harris, what was he? What was he? You know what I'm saying? So
he was stealing money.
I think the team is different when you compare it to the Clippers. But I think even if Joel Embiid gets hurt during the regular season, I think he's going to be there for you. I think he's still going to give it his all in the playoffs. Where if Kawhi gets hurt, Kawhi's just going to be like, you know what? The season's done. And, he always gets hurt. You never know. He'll finish the game, and then literally the next day be like, Kawhi's gone. Yeah. It's like, what's going on? So I think injury-wise, I understand Embiid has injury problems himself, but I think it's less of an extent than Kawhi's.
But the thing about it, though, I'm going to just say one thing, and I got to defend Kawhi when it comes to this. Kawhi got that ring, you know what I mean? And that's why everybody doesn't give him the slack and the disrespect. But Embiid, he hasn't made it past the conference finals, and he's had everybody. He has had Jimmy. He's had James Harden. Oh, my goodness. He had Ben Simmons when Ben Simmons was actually good. You know what I mean? So we reached the point where he has Paul George now. If he can't do it with Paul George, you have to put it in perspective and be like, can he even do it?
So the thing with Paul George, someone pointed out, he is good when you need him to be like a second or third guy. Mm-hmm. But when you need him to be a one in a crucial moment, that's usually when things go astray for him. That's
Pandemic P.
Yeah, that's usually when things go wrong. But they just got to put the right pieces around the Sixers. They'll be good, but it's Philly.
I mean, to Paul George's, I think he's definitely had some terrible playoff runs. But I think, like you said, when he's been the number one option, I've seen him do it one time. He didn't make it to the finals, but that year Kawhi got hurt. And
I think they lost
Paul George came through and they beat Utah in the second round,
right?
and then they lost to the Suns in the Western Conference. He was having a great series. They just lost to a good team. Yeah. Obviously the Suns went to the finals and stuff like that. I think they just lost to a good team, but he himself was having a good series. Yeah. So I think he can show up. I think he just got to get over that hump.
Yeah, and also the other free agency, the Knicks.
Oh, yeah.
Bringing the Villanova, the whole Villanova.
I'm really not worried about the Knicks.
I don't
they
get
might be
it.
number two. They might be number two in the East.
But they're still going. They're going to be like a fun regular season team. But I think when it comes to the postseason, that you got a lot of small guys, and then we never know with Julius Randle. One minute they want to trade him, next minute they don't want to trade him. Mm-hmm. It's like he's injured, he's not injured. He want to shoot threes. He don't want to go down low. It's up in the air with him. So I don't see no bigs on this team that could actually scare you. I mean, Brunson.
Mitchell Robinson's coming back.
He ain't an offensive threat.
Yeah, true.
He blocks a lot of shots, but he's not really an offensive threat. So it's the Knicks are gonna do what they always do: get their fans to hold their hopes up, and then it comes all crashing down.
I can see him making it to the conference finals, though. I think when it comes to the East right now, Celtics are the top team for sure. Mm-hmm. Second best team is either the Sixers or the Knicks, and after that, I would say Bucks and maybe who's after the Bucks. I mean, I'm trying to think who would be the last. The Heat. I definitely give the Heat the credit because I can't sleep on Jimmy Butler.
I can.
Oh really? Oh, you got to
really? Yeah, Jimmy Butler done fooled everybody with 2 playoff runs. He really done fooled everybody with 2 playoff runs, and one of them was the luckiest thing ever because them dudes were shooting threes that at a rate that they never shot ever.
I know.
So
where the hell did Caleb Martin come from?
Oh yeah.
What? Like, that was so crazy to me. Caleb Martin was over there averaging 20 points in the Eastern Conference Finals. Like, where did that come from?
Yeah, no, Struz was killing it.
No, don't get me wrong. Yeah. That he are a good team. That they can be a threat, but they just are so lackadaisical during the regular season.
Yeah, you gotta take the regular season seriously.
Exactly. Like they mess around during the regular season all the time. They always get injured and never get into a rhythm starting the playoffs. I mean, that's a lie. Let me come back. They do get into the rhythm starting the playoffs. Like you said, it was just those 2 times.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, they have had some good wins against the Bucks twice, and then obviously they beat the Celtics last year. But
injured teams.
Exactly. But they also lost 3 games in a row, and it could have been 4 games in a row if Jason Tatum didn't get hurt. So,
right.
Could have, yeah.
So I'm not really worried about the Heat.
Yeah, me either. They like. And I swear they purposely do that, being a play-in team, just so they won't have no pressure, so people could look at them as kind of an underdog. But it's kind of like, bro.
But shout out Coach Spo. He's really, really good coach.
Yeah, he's up there.
Man, shoot, we got what other free agency moves that you guys like? We run out of time, but
I seen something the other day.
I'm trying to think what's the biggest one that's happened. I mean, was it Hardenstein? Like he's
so, okay, see, they need him. They need him for rebounding. That's what they needed.
Chris Paul to the Spurs.
No, yeah, that's a good
Wemby.
one. That's great for Wemby. I don't know what Chris Paul's thinking for his career's sake. I feel like he's just like, I just want to hoop. But I'm surprised he's not trying to go to a contender. I thought he was going to go to Clippers.
See, that's the thing though. I think we're in the age now, especially with Damian Lillard going to the Bucks. We're in the age now of like no matter what you do, people are going to look at you as like you're either ring chasing or you're money chasing. Mm-hmm. So I think Chris Paul knew that, and he was just like, you know what, I don't want to be looked at as a ring chaser. I think he should have, because I feel like he's had such a great career. I feel like he is the last true definition of a point guard that we have in the NBA. So I feel like he deserves it, but I can understand why he also wants to just go out and help Wemby and play for Pop.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And Wemby averaged like 20 and 10. He probably would have averaged 28 and 10 if his teammates passed him the ball.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Chris gonna give him that rock.
Yeah, he's gonna get at least 12 to 14 easy points just by cutting to the basket.
Definitely.
Before we get out of here, also Bronny. We gotta talk about Bronny.
Oh yes.
I feel like they're forcing Bronny on us. They're forcing Bronny on the NBA. It's like they're rushing the process with him.
Absolutely.
Granted, the kid had a heart attack last year too, so that's kind of, you're not gonna play well at all. Like, you can look at Jeff Green when he had a heart surgery, and it took him a little while to get back. So it's gonna take you a little while to fully get back. But I just think the back-to-back most outstanding player of the NCAA tournament wasn't drafted. Let's put that in perspective. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's all entertainment at this point.
It's definitely entertainment. I think the thing about it is Bronny definitely has NBA potential, and he definitely has the athleticism to play in the NBA. The one thing is, I think he has the defense on an NBA level. Everything else when it comes to offensive, I'm not sure if he necessarily has those tools yet. Mm-hmm. So I've been religiously watching Bronny. I won't lie about it. He averaged 4.3 points per game in college. It was underwhelming. I think he should have waited the next year. You know what I mean? But he is LeBron's son. It is clearly nepotism. We all see it. We all see it. I hate to say it, but I got to say it.
Also know, sorry to interrupt you, that he went up against some NBA players too.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, it's true. He went up against some NBA players, did his thing. The thing about it, I am here for the nepotism. I feel like in LeBron's case and what he's done, I think a lot of people would have done the same thing if they were in his shoes. I think LeBron has been saying from the jump, yes, I want to play with my son, I want to play with my son. It's kind of like a WWE type of thing where you can tell it's a storyline, you can tell it's kind of forced. Rich Paul isn't letting any other team pick him up. He does have potential. I do think he's going to be a solid player. I don't know if he's going to reach the Drew Holiday ceiling that people keep saying with him, but I do think because he's LeBron's son, people are going to keep working with him. He does have a jumper when it's consistent. Like, it wasn't consistent in college, but in high school it was consistent. He can shoot that thing. And he could become a solid 3-and-D player. I hope he does live up for the hype for his sake, because if he doesn't, it's not going to be pretty.
No, of course. And we all know LeBron James is the NBA. Like, him and Adam Silver probably talked about this, the damn selves and stuff like that. Like, we get it. Like, it's LeBron James. But like you said, this being forced upon us. Like, he was the 55th pick, and I'll be honest with you right now, I still don't even know who the hell the number 1 pick was. I don't. But we're giving all this hype for the 55th pick, and even today they had his press conference today, and the guy next to him, Dalton, he was the 17th pick. And no one's asking a lot of questions. Questions are more towards geared Bronny and LeBron and stuff like that. But I think Bronny is an NBA player. I think you are right. I think this year, I think the drafting was given to him, and I hate to say that because obviously the kid works hard. The kid trains himself. The kid, he puts in work to himself. So it's gotta be frustrating to be the son of LeBron James. But I think if we waited another year, we would have felt more like as it was earned. Yeah. I think if we went back another year, developed, got a little bit better, and then went to draft, we would have felt more earned than this year.
And there was a lot, and there was scouts that had a lot of things. He needed to work on a lot of things, like his pre-draft, like some of the reviews they got. It's like he needed to work on a lot of things. Right. So it's kind of like, and also if this was a case of nepotism, one of Jordan's sons would have been in the league.
I mean, but they weren't that good.
Yeah.
They weren't as good. No. You watch? You seen one of his son's stats in college?
Marcus is on.
Yeah, I'm talking about Marcus. I'm just saying, if that was the case, Jordan would have forced. He would have. It's Jordan.
I got you.
It's Jordan.
We're also wearing the social media times.
But
also they weren't all Americans like Bronny. You know what I mean? McDonald.
Even that one.
I mean, but we can't get mad at like
even that All-American.
There's nepotism all over
that game.
He did, but oh my gosh, this could be a conversation for another day. But good luck to him. But I'm just saying, getting drafted to the Lakers, having your dad now you're gonna be around your dad all the time, who is considered one of the greatest ever. It's kind of
the greatest ever.
Yeah, one of the greatest ever. But a franchise that's just you have to win championship. This is the franchise, so it's kind of like, all right, what's gonna happen when your dad retires, and you're not living up to whatever expectations people are putting on you? What's gonna happen now? He's out. LeBron's out the league. You're not doing nothing. Or, you got to think of long run. But so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, Bryce is coming too. So.
Yeah, but another, you can't get mad at the LeBron nepotism and be happy and be okay with whatever is going on with the Bucks with Giannis and Giannis. Like, he's just filling up a roster spot that should be for somebody else. But it's another story for another day, too.
Yeah, all I know with sports nepotism and front offices and stuff, it's usually terribly ran. It's usually terribly ran. So let's hope he doesn't fall in that category, because even the Lakers, that nepotism and the management. Woo-wee. But we got to get out of here. We definitely got to do this again. Riley, thank you for staying here a little bit later than you expected. Make sure let the folks know where they can find the podcast.
Yeah, check us out, Podcast Audacity. That's our Instagram. I'm pretty sure that's the same with our TikTok, right? Podcast Audacity.
Yep, same with the TikTok, same with the YouTube. You can find us over there, man. Go run it up, subscribe. Appreciate the listening.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Yeah, we're out of here. Have a good one, ladies and gentlemen.